Welcome to episode 106 of the Canadian Prepper Podcast. We are recording on February 21st, 2021. My name's Eric. I'm the host of the show, based in Southern Ontario. I'm a hunter, target shooter, ham radio operator, and computer geek. As a first responder, I witnessed an over-reliance on emergency services and started a small preparedness company to help people get better prepared for at least 72 hours, if not longer. Nice try, Ian.
You didn't even fall for it this time.
Nope.
Good, too. All right. My name is Ian. I live on Vancouver Island. I'm a student in preparedness, target shooter, and my farm's mediocre handyman.
I'm Alan. I'm a safety trainer, first responder, security expert, and all-over safety nerd.
My name is Andrew. I'm a recovering libertarian and a firearms instructor at Ragnarok Tactical.
I'm Gavin. I'm also an instructor with Ragnarok Tactical, volunteer search and rescue / first responder, and swell guy, at least according to my parents, who may or may not be not drinking any more Coke products.
Ever again.
I might need the backstory on that.
Yeah, me as well, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get back to that later.
Yeah,
After show.
you might want to not do that because you may get more feedback.
If you want to help support the show and keep the Canadian Prepper Podcast on the air, including hearing Gavin's story about drinking Coke products, buy some swag. We have both T-shirts and the super awesome Wicked Cool Velcro patch at www.prepperpodcast.ca. All proceeds go to help keep the lights on and the backup generator fueled.
All right, if you're enjoying the show, please take a few minutes and like us on Facebook and submit a review on iTunes. Also, we want your feedback, good or bad, or if there's just a topic you want us to cover. You can email us at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca.
Okay, so we've got some frozen legging content for you in this episode.
That's a reach. That's
106 episodes in, still terrible.
Wow.
First, we're going to start off with some news-related articles. Then we'll let you know what we've done for our preparedness since the last episode, and then we're going to get into the main topic, tactical clothing.
Well,
from the
prepper community, there is not much else to discuss other than what's happening in Texas right now.
It's true.
It's a gong show. What was the Marty Huggins line from the candidate? Bring your brooms because it's a mess. The campaign, not the candidate, which is a phenomenal movie if you haven't watched it. One of the things that has happened in the as a result of this horrific power outage is that the variable rate customers who were so used to their 12 cents per kilowatt hour have all of a sudden been stuck with power bills in the tens of thousands. As the demand has risen, so has the cost, and the available supply has decreased. The laws of supply and demand are such that people who are used to paying 12 cents a kilowatt hour are now paying upwards of $10 per kilowatt hour. Which results in thousands and thousands of dollars of electrical bills. So, yeah, awesome. Screw you, power companies. All of them.
So, yeah, I mean, Alan's news story there had a $17,000 electric bill for one person for 1 month just for this power outage.
That's insane.
So, yeah,
that's
and nuts. I guess if you sign a contract based on spot price, and at the time you think it's a good deal because it's like, whatever spot price is, you'll get the best benefit out of it. Well, it's a once in a century event, so why not, right?
Yeah.
All right. I guess for my
Except
first
when it's your century, right?
Yeah, except for when it's your time. Yeah. So, yeah, to go down the rabbit hole a bit, Sleepy Joe called it during the election. He said it was going to be a very dark winter. I just thought it was kind of funny that he called it back in November. That, obviously a bit of a joke there. But there's a New York Times article where he talks about this dark winter that's going to be a horrible time for most Americans. And I was like, oh, okay. First article was 4 million Texans actually without power. So that's a few.
That's a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's more to this story, though, it turns out. So I guess with
backup generator sales have increased dramatically.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be one thing. But interesting enough, so the solar panels obviously didn't do so well when they got covered in snow, and the wind turbines froze up, so that was a problem. But then they also had issues with the fact that the nuclear power generators weren't winterized. So they actually had outside water lines for coolant that froze, and so they couldn't cool the reactors. So normally reactors shut down when the water gets too hot because, obviously they don't provide enough of a cooling coefficient. So now
one could say they were cooling too efficiently, and then they didn't.
And then they just didn't at all. So they had to scram a couple nuclear generators. And then they had the solar offline, the wind turbines offline, and the nuclear generators offline. And they hit peak demand because of the request for heating. So they actually turns out they intentionally shut down the power. It wasn't just like a failure. So they said if they didn't shut down the power when they did, they would actually burn out the bigger substations and the bigger transformers, and it would be 18 to 24 months before they got power back. So they said within 2 minutes, if they had let it go on for 2 more minutes with the demand the way it was, that would have been it for Texas for at least a year and a half, because they said basically because there's 3 interties in the states, right? There's the Eastern, Western, and the Texas intertie is independent because Texas, and
everything's bigger in Texas. Yeah.
And independent minded, so they actually cut themselves off from sharing power demands and surges and stuff. So they didn't have the capability to meet the higher demand. Well, I would call it momentary demand, but anyways, it was just a huge increase in peak demand. So they did it intentionally, and they said we can't bring it back online right now because if we do, we'll cause more damage, and that was their problem.
Did you see that part of this stems from that the company selling power to the Texas Power Board, and I don't remember the acronym for the name of the board that regulates electric power in Texas. They effectively do not. I'm sorry?
PUCT, Public Utility Commission of Texas.
This is maybe their regulatory board, but there's another group that actually is like the intermediary between the power generation and the power distribution. The Texas Public Power Commission controls the distribution, and you can't be a distributor and also a generator in Texas. You can do one or the other, but not both. Because of the way the spot pricing works on this, that the energy generation, the electrical energy generation in Texas is based on a futures market that they do like 20 or 48 hours in advance of the anticipated demand. So the regulatory body that oversees that says we need so many megawatts of power 48 hours from now, and we're willing to pay X number of dollars per megawatt. And the various generating services, nuclear, alternative, winds, solar, whatever, or predominantly in Texas, fossil fuel plants, mostly natural gas power plants, decide whether or not they're going to operate or not at that time to produce the demand or to meet the demand, the forecasted demand. They effectively have no reserve power as a result of this scheme. It's supposed to save the consumer money, but it also means that if the forecast is wrong, they can't meet consumer demand.
It's kind of like starving in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Not unlike.
Or like the dairy board where you've got excess milk, but you can't sell it because you've met your quota.
Well, do you guys remember, I mean, most of you are probably old enough to remember Enron. I don't know if all of our listeners remember Enron.
Yeah, there's some pretty cool math skills, I remember.
Well, certainly energy's future trading is a thing. What Enron did is basically what the Utilities Commission in Texas is still doing with their futures energy market.
Yeah, but it's different when they do it.
It's really the same thing.
It's like sports betting. It's completely immoral and illegal in Ontario unless you're the government. And it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Same concept.
It entertains me that this is all done as a government exercise to provide better value for the consumer, but also,
completely screw the consumer.
You're completely on your own. And then some West Texas mayor boomer was like, well, you just got to bootstrap yourself. Some people aren't going to make this through. And it's like, this is the most boomer comment I have ever heard.
Yeah, survival of the fittest, I think is what he said.
You're literally contracted with the government agency that's the only people that you can legally buy power from because they own the sole rights to the generation and distribution. But if they're not able to meet your demands, the government is just going to tell you you're on your own and bootstrap yourself. Okay, cool.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. Well done.
And I know a lot of guys were trying to pin down the green energy being, let them down when they needed it most. But I mean, I think it was only still 4% of the total generation of the state, so it wasn't completely to blame.
4% peak generation of the total state. And it's going to be less than that based on their futures market because it's expensive to make solar power. It's not expensive to burn natural gas.
And when shit goes sideways,
in Texas, where you've got a ton of it.
Oh, and when shit goes sideways, they have to de-ice the propeller blades with petroleum products.
That's embarrassing.
And run helicopters to deliver those petroleum products to the propeller blades. So it's like not a great energy savings overall.
Don't forget like the fuel that you're going to have to burn to drive the truck out there to pick up all the dead birds that have been killed by the giant wind turbine too.
That's right. But if the bird was covered in oil, you'd see it on the front page of the news. But because it's not, it's just killed by a propeller blade.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Actually, Darius brings up a good point. Don't forget to fly overseas so you don't have to deal with it like Ted Cruz.
Yeah. No, to be fair to Ted Cruz, he didn't go overseas. He just went to Mexico.
And he's federal, not state.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's still...
Yeah.
I mean, sure, there's some things he could have done, but yeah, I mean...
It's still really bad optics.
Yeah.
But aren't they still under some sort of travel ban, or?
Well, they're not Canada. Come on now.
Come on, America. Come on now.
Yeah. And, I mean, Alan didn't want to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it. Carbon monoxide deaths. It's sad to see that Alan has been proven right after talking about it almost every episode for over a year. That
It's got to be at least 100 episodes.
Yeah,
it's getting close.
But yeah, like, I mean, how many people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning from burning stuff indoors that they shouldn't in the last week in Texas? I think it's almost in the hundreds now.
Yeah, there've been over 100 deaths affiliated with this storm, and far too many of them are carbon monoxide. Go back and listen to every other episode that I've recorded, and you'll hear me talk about carbon monoxide. There's nothing more to say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sad that people get panicked. And to be fair, their houses are. To be fair, the houses are meant to dissipate heat, not retain heat.
Yep.
Right? Every design down there is like heat dissipation. So even if they're running a candle, what's it going to do, right? Like when the house has extreme venting along the roof and everything else. I mean, my sister-in-law is actually in Austin. She lives there. She's been without power now for 4 or 5 days. And she had to get a little creative. She actually took her little plastic kayak and put it over her tropical plants, and ran some lights underneath there to keep stuff from freezing solid. And they've actually bunkered into this big McMansion in the neighborhood and kind of created their own little mag and everything else to make it work, because that's all the choices they have, right? Because the one house actually has still gas running to it at least. It's crazy times.
I don't get why people still think that burning stuff inside is a good idea, because that's not it's not new science. Like, that's pretty old. We've known to not do this for a while, but being in the industry where I sell generators, especially small portable ones, I can't tell you how many people said, "Oh, I can run this inside." I mean,
you
No.
can.
Yes,
It depends on how long you want to do that for.
how big?
We're not saying you can't. We're saying you shouldn't.
It's not physically impossible. It's just not a great idea.
I had one guy that wanted to make his own exhaust pipe that would. I was like, no.
There's literally
Just get
one
a standby and wire that in. You'll be fine. Don't run this inside.
Well, there's actually literally one guy that tried to keep warm in his car, but he wanted to stay extra warm, so he left his garage door closed. I mean, hasn't he seen every episode, every movie that has that, Office Space and everything else? It's that's seriously a hazard. But
That's
I don't know.
It's a lack of planning and a couldn't happen to me scenario. It couldn't happen to me mentality, because it's Texas and it's a desert and it's always hot in Texas. And now all of a sudden it's not, and people have no idea what to do. And it sucks that people are dying as a result. It really sucks. And there's no reason for this aside from it's Texas. And so we're not going to do things in a way that we can withstand a deep freeze, because we'll never have to.
Well, at least I'm happy that. I was going to say, my sister-in-law is probably the coolest head on the block, because she's from Winnipeg originally. So, I mean,
it's not even cold for her.
Yeah,
she's still wearing
she's probably still got parkas for when she goes to visit home now and then. So, I mean, she's probably like, whatever.
I mean, that and everyone on top of that's going to panic because the Whataburger's closed, so they can't go and get their food. So.
That's right.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Taco trucks will still run, though.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think that's pretty much all I had for news from me. You had one, Eric?
Yeah, I do. So, not that we haven't already gone off on a tangent, but I'll just mention Bill's C-21.
Ooh.
I heard that's a thing.
Yeah, apparently that's
not
a
yet.
thing.
It's not. Yeah,
not yet, but it's on its way. So,
will it make it before the next election is another matter. But as soon as they started involving airsofters, it's just like a feel-good bill, right?
Yeah. So welcome to the fight, airsofters.
Yep.
So
it looks bad.
Can someone
and scary
explain to me how banning an airsoft gun or a paintball gun will stop homicides involving firearms in downtown Toronto?
Because marijuana equals meth.
No,
It's a slippery slope.
Al hit the nail on the head. It's
Gateway
It's a
firearm.
a
gateway
gateway
firearm.
firearm. Yeah, it's the Dr. Najma Ahmed of the Doctors for Prohibition from Guns, or whatever they call themselves. She actually referred to airsoft pistols as gateway guns, because once you get to that, it's just a murder killing spree is just like
That's it,
the next natural progression, right?
That makes total sense.
Once you're used to putting your sights on a human target, it doesn't matter what you're firing at them, and therefore they are all bad.
Right.
That is the argument here. And
Just
it's-
like
I mean, classical conditioning and such is a thing, except it doesn't work that way. It's not like you're going to just automatically become a killer for having an airsoft gun or even.
it also means that you're not going to not kill somebody. Like
I mean,
having an airsoft gun is completely detached from your propensity to harm another human.
Yeah.
I feel like this entire bill is completely detached from the propensity of reality.
Well,
there's that.
like several others.
Same thing, like for banning advertisement of if you say like a shotgun's good for home defense, that's actually a criminal code offense now. You can go to jail for it. I mean, like, how is that going to prevent any crime? Like,
And who's advertising firearms like that in this country anyway? What good is this going to do from stopping criminals from criminally misusing a device? Like,
Well, I mean, I was going to manufacture firearms and say that these are good for, settling beefs with other gangs on your street corner while you're slinging meth. But I guess
Always
I can't
back
do that
to meth.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
who knew that meth was the least offensive part of all that?
also,
I see that as a solution to a problem, personally. But maybe that's just me.
it also seems like we're not going to have a mandatory confiscation just yet. There's an opportunity to sell the firearm to the government for some undisclosed amount of funds, but also I can keep my newly prohibited firearms as long as I comply with various storage regulations.
As yet to
but
be
they're so
unspecified.
dangerous that nobody needs
They're
them.
incredibly dangerous. Yeah. Incredibly dangerous.
VT
So-
brings up a good point. Like, what about the video games that are, they're the worst he's seen yet? And let's face it, like how many times in Call of Duty have you sit there and blasted away at a human form? Like, that's probably next, because that's promoting violence or something, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Slippery slope.
absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, it's even more ridiculous when you pair that up with C-22 that got dropped like the next day or 2 days later, where they reduced the penalties for a bunch of violent things and gun-related things, much like when C-71 went through a week later, C-75, which did the same thing. And it's like you're cracking down on guns, but then you're reducing the penalties for people that do the things you're trying to stop.
Well, hey, if there's no guns, there's no need for penalties.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
From Boots on the Ground, Whataburger was open. Mostly, he waited in a 1 hour lineup. So, crisis averted.
Oh.
Oh,
That's
good.
There you
the but isn't that a FEMA test? Oh no, that's
No,
the Waffle
that's
House. It's the Waffle House. It's the Waffle House Index.
What if Whataburger's open? You're good to go.
Yep.
Well, no, I was thinking of the Waffle House Index, which is a unit of measurement that FEMA uses to decide how long it's going to take to recover from specifically hurricanes. But if the Waffle House doesn't close, then it's going to be a short. It's like a Groundhog Day kind of thing. But it's a measurable correlation between the availability of fast food and the recovery of an area after a disaster.
I mean, you've got to have
Interesting.
standards.
Fair enough. Well, shall we move into what we've done lately for preps?
Alrighty.
So-
Eric.
Yeah, for me, I just goofed around with some lock picking. I kind of put the pick down for a while there, so fired that back up and was able to get a few locks open. So that's something at least. It's not the 3 or 4 pages of Ian, but it'll do.
Well, nobody else put anything in. I wanted to do some filler here to kill up some time.
Easy there for
Is that your excuse this week?
Yeah. So speaking of the lockpicking, I did order a set of lockpicks via Allen, so I'm looking forward to those showing up. I can get into that. That'd be interesting. I've never done that before. So let's see. Update on the carrots. So back in August, September, we had a bunch of spare carrots. We got a good deal off Costco, I think it was, and we decided to try storing them in dry pine shavings. And lo and behold, we pulled them out of there today to use some for cooking, and perfectly fine. Very, very tiny little white roots on them, but like pretty much intact. They were dry, they were crunchy still, they weren't soft and mushy or anything else. It worked. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so it went below zero, went all sorts of goofy temperatures and moisture levels, and the shavings were still dry enough around the carrots that they maintained them perfectly. So nice little long-term storage.
Did they taste like an IPA, though?
Not quite. Not hoppy enough, but
maybe that's good.
All right, let's see here. I did a range trip. Luckily enough, because of the heavy snow that I'll be talking about in 3 seconds, I had the range to myself. So it was kind of nice. Naturally, that followed with a few CGN deals. Naturally.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Never happens.
Snow did a big damper on stuff around the acreage this week, so basically we had the 6 inches of heavy wet snow, couldn't get up the driveway, so... Well, what else am I going to do? So I reorganized the range bag since I just used it. I realized it was a dog's breakfast, so I kind of cleaned it all out. There's actually an overhead storage part of my woodshed that I've never actually been to since I bought the house. And I thought, maybe I should see what's up there. And so I discovered, like, Jimmy Hoffa's severed head and some information on JFK's assassination. But I did not find anything regarding Hillary Clinton or anything that might lead to her arrest. So just want to make sure about that. Let's see here. So, yeah, I cleaned that out. And all of a sudden I have more storage space under a nice dry roof, which is a big deal around here, right? So I can use that for next fall. Or also organize the quad toolbox. It's on the back of the quad because it was, again, I've just been throwing stuff in there all winter. Again, screw the snowstorm because it actually ripped out, or it ruined my bird netting on 2 of my coops. So we had like bird netting up there to keep the eagles and hawks and stuff away. And yeah, so it all went down to the ground because of the snow. So I had to rip all that out. And of course, just in time to hear the baby eagles in the forest squawking and they're hungry, so I'm like, I guess I better get some bird netting back up like ASAFP because I'm going to start losing chickens to those. Couple of gunsmithing projects involving Dremels, belt sanders, and everything else, just tinkering in the shop because of the snow.
So you're a pro now.
I'm a pro, yeah. Because, Dremel and don't forget the, what's that 2-part metal stuff, the...
JB Weld?
JB Weld, there you go. You got to use the JB Weld too, right? Let's see here. So we had a house electrical issue come up, and not to, I didn't want to have my firemen show up, so I didn't just say, hey, screw it, I don't care if I can smell like ozonated air and, burnt plastic sheathing or anything else. So tracked that one down as a faulty power outlet in one of the daughter's rooms. That was not cool. Let's see here. The quad trailer had started grinding pretty heavily when I was dragging stuff around the acreage, so I discovered that one of the bearings had seized up, so I actually did my first bearing repack since high school, and yeah, that's kind of embarrassing when you haven't done one of those for a while. Let's see here. Facebook hates us, so I started a new group on Gab called Self-Reliance and Homesteading Canada. Did not use the prepper word because I figured I'd just, in case they start banning stuff randomly. Let's see here. Yeah, with Gavin and the rest of the guys, I made a point of watching the latest government bill on gun control. Ian Runkle the Bailey on YouTube, he's starting to provide like segmented episodes on breaking it down, the finer details of all that, so we don't need to get into that per se.
Very well done, though.
Yeah, and he started the first overview, and then he's going to start with the individual items next, which is, I'm looking forward to that. I guess Andrew can talk about the Patriot Challenge, but I've basically been doing my best to keep up with that every single day. And that's pretty much it for me.
That's it? Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't have time to sneak off and get another drink.
Almost.
Almost. I replaced all my cordless tools, all my power tools this week, which was pretty cool. I got rid of all my old Milwaukee stuff. It was starting to break down. Some of that's getting close to 10 years old, but the batteries were still in great condition. And so I was able to sell off what I still had, and bought a new set of rigid tools. And so far I'm enjoying those. Did a lot of rucking and lifting. So I've got this 50-pound weight vest that I've been carrying around, and I've got about a 5K route that takes me between the 2 train tracks near my house. And my time on that is getting faster and faster, which is, feeling good. My sandbag workouts are getting heavier and heavier, which is also awesome. Next week, I'm traveling up to the northern-ish part of the province, the gap between the north and the south of Ontario for a course. And so I spent today getting all my meals ready. I'll be staying in a hotel for 6 nights, and a lot of driving in between here and there. So I'm going to make sure that I'm well prepared just in case bad things happen, and hopefully not not stray too far from the meal plan.
Nice.
And sending lock picks out to various people that I know, and buying excessive lock picks for no damn reason apparently.
Redundancy.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh no, this is far beyond redundancy. This is like for no damn reason. It was just, I misunderstood a text message from Eric, and now all of a sudden I have new tools. So
one is none.
A case is also one. One case.
Yeah. That's none.
Yeah.
Gavin and I got out this weekend. We were teaching our very first map reading and land navigation course with Ragnarok Tactical. We did a non-firearms course, which up until now we've done a tiny bit of first aid, medical, stop the bleed type courses. But this is really not a move, or more of the move and less of the shoot, communicate, and medical stuff that we normally are playing around with. So we had a good group out and got lost in a park, and it was a good time. People had fun. No one died.
That's rule number. That's bonus outcome number one.
So it wasn't a parkette then.
No, it was a proper park. There's a duck pond.
Good. Oh, good.
There was a duck pond. We did get to feed the ducks. It was well.
That's nice.
So we had lots of people out playing with maps and getting lost in the woods. Ian touched on it. I've been doing the Canadian Patriot Challenge because it's my challenge for my podcast, and I feel like I should set a good example, or at least not a terrible example. 45 minutes of exercise every day, drink 2 liters of water, read for 15 minutes, practice a skill for 10 minutes, and do one thing to improve your life. The exercise one sucks, and drinking water sucks.
Yeah.
And reading I actually enjoy. I could read a lot. The other ones aren't so bad, but the exercising and the drinking water, because my water should have been boiled with hops and barley in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I mean, practicing a skill could just be working a chainsaw, which, it's a skill and it's kind of fun and it's kind of exercise too. So,
and if it creates firewood, it improves your life.
There you go.
Two things together.
Stacking. It's all about the stacking.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I knock off the Patriot Challenge. I mean, for my preps, I'm coming at you live from my new and improved bunker. So I rearranged all of my kit, my guns that I haven't lost in a boating accident because it registered, and all the empty boxes of ammunition that I don't have anymore. But yeah, I've been getting up an hour earlier than I normally do to get my workout in, get my reading in, get a stretch in. So working on me.
It's important.
Yeah, I'll knock out the exercise and the reading and the drinking of the water, trying to do that all at once, but I'm finishing up the last little bit of my 2 liters for the day right now. Because apparently alcohol doesn't count.
Nope. If you're doing it right, alcohol actually detracts from the amount of water that you've had.
Well then. Yeah. With that, I think we should move into the main topic.
Sorry, I just noticed a comment here from Brad Taylor. Shoot me an email, alan@prepperpodcast.ca. We can talk off air about tools.
Perfect.
Sorry, there we go.
Yep, all good. Let's move into the main topic, shall we?
All right. So at first I was excited when they thought we were going to talk about tight pants, and then I was just.
I mean, not exclusively, anyways.
They're not tight pants if you do it right.
And if you really want a good Google search subject, Google tactical lederhosen. It's you cannot unsee it. So anyway, acid wash mum jeans. I just said that's another taboo subject tonight. We can't talk about those tonight.
All right, I'm out.
Well, I'm out. I did not agree to this.
Yeah.
And remember, keep learning.
Send it right there.
Don't Google
That's
those.
It. Yep.
Okay, so first question for you guys. Every time I was on the Facebooks and Mark Zuckerberg was monitoring everything I did and typed in, I seem to get a lot of those advertisements for those Chinese-made super tactical, super awesome jeans that they were taking a knife and trying to slice through them and pouring water on them and everything else. So gimmicky advertising, I get that, but let's talk about what makes a tactical pant.
Well, first they're
Assault
jeans, and they're
pockets.
made by Chuck Norris. If you remember
Fair enough.
those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did Chuck Norris
Action
have
jeans.
jeans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
action jeans. Oh, come on, man.
Seriously?
Oh yeah, but they were jorts. Like they were like they were barely Daisy Dukes.
Oh, he had like it was an actual
Talking about
brand,
different
Action
products.
Jeans. Yeah,
Yeah, Chuck Norris action jeans.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
You could he like the photo is him in the jeans doing like a high kick. It's awesome.
That
I remember
must have
that.
been an Ontario thing, because like
No, that was like an 80s thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a very 80s thing. Yep.
Yeah, if you got karate magazines in the '80s, he was advertising them back.
If you remembered Enron, you should have remembered this.
I'm pretty sure these were the jeans that the guys were wearing in Nam back when jeans were actually tactical pants.
I'm pretty sure I probably blocked it out of my memory. It was like a traumatic
Yeah.
event or something. I don't know. I do remember the Chuck Norris cut off horrible things from some of his action movies, but
Ew.
Yeah, those were bad. Yeah.
no.
No, actual tactical pants. I think the primary factor is probably the assault pockets.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, it's got to have more than four
More than
pockets. to be-
If it's over capacity that way. If it's got more than
Yeah.
5 pockets, they're assault pockets.
Nobody needs that.
No, it's terrible.
Are they black in color, or they just come in multicolors? You know?
I feel like black is definitely an option, but again, like it's very 80s to go with the all black.
Yeah, you need the black turtleneck and the sweater to go with that to be like the 80s.
It's got to be the
SWAT
commando
top.
sweater with the
Oh.
But is it black or is
Yeah.
it slightly darker black?
Archer style. I like that.
Yeah,
very black.
yeah.
There are a number of good brands to look in terms of tactical clothing, tactical pants, and there are a number of different features. And there's sort of a few common styles of tactical pants, like your traditional BDU battle dress uniform style, cargo pant, military pant, the not slender, not form-fitting giant cargo pocket variety.
Yeah, that billows the minute that you put anything in it.
Yeah, but they're so handy.
Oh yeah, no, I love
Yeah.
the Costco cargo shorts and the cargo pants because basically look like
yeah.
jodhpurs after a while. And
Yeah, and you can easily put 2 or 3 cans of beer in each pocket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they're great for cottaging.
And golfing and just walking about the park and
You
any place
also
where you might want to have several beers.
Yeah,
You also get your super duper high speed pants with the built-in knee pads. If you're going with Arc'teryx or
Cry. I mean, those
Cry,
would be
thank you.
Gucci. Yeah,
if you've got some serious money to drop on pants, Arc'teryx and Cry, and
Yeah.
the built-in promotion pads and the many pockets and the slightly more form-fitting factor.
yeah.
so they no longer made with denim, I'm sure. So what's the best material for these things?
Depends. 2 big ones, poly cotton ripstop and just cotton ripstop. The poly cotton ones are usually treated, depending on the brands, like 511 puts Teflon on all their stuff. So it's got the built-in stain water repellent. It wears out over time, but it comes that way, and have the stain repellent on some colors is nice.
Yeah, and then when you're tactically snacking and you spill something, it just kind of wipes right off. You don't have to worry.
Wipes off.
Can confirm.
Yeah,
Can you,
there's some other materials that people are kind of experimenting with like that soft shell material and stuff like that, which like can
You
make
get
for
the
some.
stretch stuff. There's like the 4-way mechanical stretch that a lot of brands are doing now.
Yeah,
It's still a poly or a poly cotton blend, but they've got the mechanical stretch, which if you've had too many tactical snacks, sometimes nice
Yeah.
feature. Also,
Yeah, I
if you're
mean-
doing the Chuck Norris kick them in the face routine, again, having the flexibility in addition to the gusseting.
yeah. There's a bit of a trade-off though between like the durability and the flexibility of your pants. So depending on what you need them for and like exactly what the cut and size are, you might not want a pant that's super flexible because chances are the material is probably a little bit softer and easier to rip. But you get the full mobility and everything. So yeah, if you're doing your Chuck Norris kicks, you want that. You're running through the woods, you maybe want something that like isn't going to rip if it snags on something.
So you guys
Trade-offs.
mentioned the water repellent thing. Can you recharge that water repellent, or like is there like a spray or something you can do afterwards?
Teflon and silicone are both options,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a diminishing returns because every time you wash it, it wears off. And how many times do you do it, and is it worth it? And
Yeah.
I feel like the stain repellent, water repellent stuff can be kind of gimmicky. If you really want water repellent tactical pants, you probably want to go to a product like a Gore-Tex, like a breathable membrane, or something in like 100% polyester shell where it's like a hard shell jacket.
Yeah, because I'd be kind of curious if it's waterproof, if it can still breathe or not, because you still want to get rid of the sweat and everything else if you're actually doing some tactical stuff, right?
Well,
Yeah, you'd want a good Gore-Tex or something like that that's breathable, I would suggest. I mean,
a lot of it goes into a layering scheme, as with like any outdoors clothing. A lot of it has to do with appropriate layering and mission specific or environment specific clothing. I mean, so if you're going to be in a cold place, you probably want some sort of insulated loft pant underneath, but maybe something more water repellent on the outside. If you're going to go and do like tactical tropical operations, maybe swim shorts are the way to go, and you're going to have less pockets in your banana hammock than in your 511 BDUs.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if you're really looking for some waterproofing on a budget, I mean, like Rust-Oleum makes that like 2-part waterproofing spray stuff that actually works really, really well, but you're going to stiffen up that material and it actually puts a bit of a white tint to the thing that you've sprayed. So like if you are on a budget and you want to make your jeans waterproof, you can do it, but they're going to be a little crunchy.
Resistant.
Yeah.
Brendan has a question there. Anybody know what the Duluth Trading fire hose flex pants are made out of?
Fire hoses.
Yeah.
Which are not waterproof in any way, shape, or form, just for the record.
I looked into the Duluth stuff a while ago. I have not looked at them in a couple of years, but I thought the Duluth stuff was kind of interesting when I heard about it. It was difficult to get it out of the US, and I never ended up ordering any. But the Duluth stuff is the same material that a fire hose is made out of, or at least it was when I last looked at it. Interesting. So it's a synthetic. I think it's a poly blend.
It's usually a nylon polyester weave, and they're pretty good for like that. The material itself is fairly abrasion resistant, but once it starts to go, it goes fast.
Yeah. Although, I mean, I hope they've trademarked that name, because if I ever make pants, the stretchy crotch area is going to say that it's got fire hose flex.
Here we go.
But
According to the Duluth Trading Company, the fire hose flex pants are $69.50. Which I thoroughly appreciate.
3% spandex. What else are they made out of, though? So I would have thought it would have been like a polynylon blend, but it's not.
8-ounce fire hose cotton canvas, 30% lighter than their originals, and just as abrasion resistant. Mm-hmm. So it's cotton canvas with 3% spandex.
Neat.
Yep.
Well then,
it doesn't sound like a whole lot of.
It's going to absorb every little drop of whatever that you get on it. Because it's cotton.
Sounds like a hard pass to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Soaking wet.
I have some original 511 tactical pants, like the original tactical pants in FBI beige, and they've held up pretty well 150 or 200 washes later, and they're still mostly beige and mostly not too badly frayed. And they're the whatever they are, 6.5 ounce cotton or 8.5 ounce cotton, the original 511 tactical pant.
Yep. I've had a set of 511s for at least 7-8 years now. Same thing. All good.
Bane's asking, more importantly, do they melt and stick to your naughty bits when you set yourself on fire? He's asking for a friend. So I guess nylon would be bad for that no matter what.
Yeah, there's definitely some companies that make good fire resistant. So your pants will still burn and disappear, but they won't melt. There's a company called Massif that makes no melt tactical pants. I was actually wearing a pair of them today because they make an excellent like tactical sweat pant that's actually fleecy on the inside, so it's super warm. I had those on today for the outdoor land nav, and I was quite toasty, and they're super super comfy.
Nice.
I recommend.
Stupid question, but what makes a pant a tactical pant rather than a just other pant? Also, is it pant or pants?
Marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, I feel strongly about the number of pockets. Tactical pants should have a lot of pockets.
Okay, so I'm just
Yes.
I'm going to lose my stuff when I'm just wearing those as opposed to when I'm wearing regular pants. Because I won't remember which pockets in.
That's the big differentiating factor with the anything tactical automatically has more pockets and fasteners than anything that is not tactical.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then usually Velcro.
Step beyond that, I'm going to say that it probably involves some kind of camouflage or subdued color patterns, as opposed to in like your normal pants. There are a number of styles, and there are a lot of very good European pants, which are definitely more of a snug fit. But I've noticed that there are some American brands that are also going to a more hipster-friendly cut, like the new 511 ABR pants are definitely more form-fitting than previous generation of 511 product.
I would call them Frappuccino pants or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not a big fan of the skinny pants look. The ABR pants are very, very comfy. I used to, when I went to an office for work, wear those as my work pants in an office environment because they were in a plain color, passable as work pants.
yeah, I've got a couple of
pockets.
a couple of European brands. I don't like the super super tight skinny look either, but some of the companies out there are making some stuff that's not like a skinny jean, but it's a little bit slimmer. But you really need to be careful in your sizing and pick like the exact right waist and leg length, because if you don't, the built-in knee pads don't line up properly and they just don't fit. Whereas like an American style cut where it's like you maybe have a few sizes is going to be a little bit more universal in its fit.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of those things that, depending on the generation and style of pants, a lot of stuff is size small, medium, large, like a BDU pant, a military style pant. You generally get like regular or long, and it's up to you to like sort that out. If it needs to be pinned or not, that's a you problem. Just like when they issued it, they also tend to do like a small, medium, large, extra large type waist in those pants. So there's not a lot of
unhelpful.
Get form fitting. Pros and cons. Some brands like the 511, their TDU line, which is their BDU style pant. They call theirs the tactical duty uniform. They have the elastic waistband. It's like a hidden waistband inside, so it's very flexible for those extra turkey dinners around the holidays.
Yeah,
too many donuts on shift, and you have the expandability to have it move with you more freely. Some styles you don't have that. You have what Gavin mentioned, especially the European brands and some of the Russian brands. It's very particular metric sizing that you have to measure the way that they want you to measure, or it does not work for you.
Yeah, I mean,
measure differently.
More traditional ones will have like the little sliders on the sides, because like inevitably, when you only have 3 sizes of pant, they're never going to fit great. So you have to like pull the little slider toggle thing to tighten them up, or a drawstring or something like that.
That prevents them from shrinking in the closet like other pants do.
Yeah.
It
It's
does
happened to
help
a lot of my
with
pants this year, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
more exercise, more rucking, more walking.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got a dumb question right now. So first things first, as per the Facebook ads, you mentioned the knee pads being built into the tactical pants. Is there such a thing as like a pant made for like go to war pants, not to copy Nut and Fancy or anything else, but like is there something that's actually like slash proof or has a little bit of like John Wick style protection, or is there anything like super tactical, or is it just like ripstop nylon?
Super tactical is probably the externally integrated knee pad that Cry runs, or Cry knockoffs run. So they've got an external polymer knee pad with a knee pad pocket, so you don't wear out the knees of your tactical pants when you're working on that next promotion to get moved up to squad leader.
That's right.
Yeah, and then like the Arc'teryx ones use something a little bit different. Like they have their standalone kneecaps, they call them, that integrate into the pocket in the pant. And then UF Pro has like built-in sort of knee padding and then crotch vents, but there's no like slash proof. I'm sure there's like somewhere if you look, but like the major brands are not making slash proof pants.
There are some brands that are doing the fire retardant fabric, the FR rated fabric, so it's okay to be around open flame and it won't melt and like be permanently part of you after that.
Like Nomex or something?
Nomex, and there's a couple of other FR options. Some of them are done through a chemical application process, and some of them are done through the type of material that are used. And then you can get
an requirement,
FR-rated item.
Yeah, for certain jobs in certain applications, it's a requirement that your uniform be made of that material because there's a good chance you may be on fire.
Yeah, all of our bunker gear, of course, is Nomex, but even our coveralls for those departments that allow them, they have to have the FR rating on them, and it's a combination of Nomex and cotton and a chemical application. You have to wash them in a certain way, and you can't use specific types of detergents with them, and they have to be recertified every couple of years, and there's a lot to it.
And they won't stop you from being on fire. They'll just probably not become part of you if they melt.
Yeah.
But they won't stop you from being slashed or shot or otherwise immolated or some other tragic turn of events.
Yeah, like there are some companies like that make some pretty cool stuff for the more covert guys. Like there's a company in Toronto called Gray Man that makes suits, and they put like slash proof material in the sleeves of their sport coats and stuff like that. So like there's people out there that make that stuff. And it's
I would
pretty
definitely
cool.
call anything that Gray Man makes as a tactical pant, even though it looks generally like a
dress
very
pant.
normal dress pant, like a suit pant, usually as part of a suit or something like a business casual type pant.
Cool. Yeah, they use like a Kevlar type material to get that sort of slash proof. I think they use Spectra in it.
They cater to armed security and undercover law enforcement type people who may have to do dangerous things in dangerous places while not looking like dangerous people.
Yeah.
Cool.
Question for the panel then. I'm on the 511 website, and they have a big banner across the top saying they're not shipping to Canada. Who retails them in Canada?
Well, I saw a store in Vancouver here, Warriors and Wonders. They carry a complete line of 511 gear. That's also known as, I think it's also known as Blades Canada on the website, but Warriors and Wonders.
I mean, there's a
distributors are. 511 Canada is a difficult brand. 511 generally in the last couple of years has become a difficult brand to deal with, and they've moved to wanting to have brick and mortar stores.
Yeah.
They're trying to be more of a lifestyle brand, and it's, I think, hurting some of their core business.
Yeah, in Ontario, I think there are only two and a half, I'll say, actual distributors of the product that buy directly from 511 and retail it. I can't imagine there's too many more in any of the other provinces. Probably, one or two in every province that are actual, customers directly that would be able to buy it. Okay. I mean, it's kind of available everywhere, but also, it's really becoming more of a lifestyle brand than anything else, which is kind of weird because they started out as a climbing gear company and then turned into a tactical company.
So 511 is the most difficult type of mountain to be scaling.
Yeah.
So kind of like MEC all over again is what you're saying.
Yeah. I guess it was the guy that owned Royal Robbins started another brand for climbing or whatever, and then they started getting, I guess, contracts to make tactical stuff.
I noticed that Cabela's is starting to carry some too, so you can see where they're going for the lifestyle thing, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't have anything against, and they make some great clothing, but I think that 511's also gone to being a lifestyle brand is detrimental to some of their core business, and a lot of their newer products are very heavily marketed with people like Tim Kennedy, U.S. Army Special Forces sniper, MMA fighter, Green Beret, Ranger qualified something trademark.
But he's also
I
a
forget.
reservist, isn't he?
But you got to do
Yeah.
the entire deal, because when he does his introduction, it takes like a minute and a half because he has
He's all the things.
titles.
Yeah.
Guy has all the titles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, they still make some good stuff, but like, I mean, I'm not going to stop buying their pants because they make a decent pant for a decent price.
Like the ABR pants, when I wear through the couple of pairs that I have, they're probably done because they're just not as durable as the original 511 tactical pants were. And same thing, like it's hard to beat their TDU pant for when you can get them in Canada for like 75 or 80 bucks a pair, and they last for years. It's hard to beat for another brand name BDU style pant.
Yeah, I mean, I put my traditional TDUs from them like through all kinds of hell, and they last for years and years and years. Right?
Hard to beat for a sub $100, because then the tiers that you're going above that, you're looking at Cry or Arc'teryx, and you're hundreds of dollars for a pair of pant to get the same level of performance.
Well, I guess they're the new kid on the block, I guess, is First Tactical, that makes a very comparable pant to the 511 pant. It's almost like somebody left that company and started another company that's very similar.
Yeah, First Tactical has a lot of what look like 511 rip-offs, and I think that's because a lot of the design, and I think some of the senior management people moved from one company to the other. They went from 511, they left 511, and they moved to First Tactical, and they've brought some of the same core strategy over. They do make a reasonable tactical pant. That First Tactical in Canada is really easy to get. They have a distributorship in Ontario. They do online. It's pretty straightforward. The pant, I don't think their basic tactical pant is as good as the 511 basic tactical pant.
It's definitely a slimmer cut too.
I think it's a narrower cut, and I don't think it is as functional with the layout of their pockets. But it's a perfectly serviceable pant for about the same price, and it meets most of the same user requirements. And they also have a step above uniform line pant, like a TDU style pant, that's a few $100, so you're not quite Cry money, because that's when you spend money on Cry pants, that's what happens, because it's a $500 pair of pants.
But it's buy once, Cry once, yeah.
Right. Or Arc'teryx, which is a good Canadian brand. Arc'teryx is out of BC. They're good, especially if you can get their stuff as a second from their BC location.
Because you will not spot the mistake in their second.
Yeah, their factory seconds look fine. I've never seen a factory second that I could tell was a factory second.
Their warranty is phenomenal too.
And it's nice to be able to support Canadian companies with that sort of thing.
Yeah. I've recently picked up a few pairs of the Helicon Tex Covert pants, which are almost like a soft shell material, very stretchy, but I wear them as work pants because they look like sort of, casual / dressy plain pants with none of the like tactical pockets that are screaming, this is a tactical pant. But they do have a bunch of hidden pockets in them, which come in handy for certain things.
This is very much one of the European style functions where they still have side pockets and slash pockets, but they're less visible than a lot of the Americanized brands are. They don't, much like the IDPA fishing vest, they don't scream shoot me first.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, like along the waistband on each side, they have like your normal front slash pockets, your normal rear pockets, but then there's another pocket in between them. But the way that the pockets are sewn with the sort of seam, you can't really see that it's a pocket. And then they actually have on the inside of the waistband 4 magazine pockets. So you can
need to carry a large number of rifle magazines. I do want to go back and touch a little bit on tactical jeans, because there is some reasonable tactical jeans on the market now. There's been 511 tried to do some, and they were okay, but the denim did not hold up well because I think they were trying to get it at that lifestyle budget price, so the denim was not of the best quality. Vertex has been making a very, very quality tactical jean for several years. Hidden key cuff pockets on the inside of the waistband. Hidden magazine pockets on the back where the regular pockets are. But they look like a 5-pocket jean, but they're gusseted in the middle of the legs area where you want the extra freedom of motion.
Yeah.
The gusseting is nice, and they're also articulated at the knees so as to not reveal anything that you may be concealing about your ankles were you to sit down.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if you have an ankle medical kit or other accessories.
What brand name is that? That was trying to do tactical
Vertex, VERTX.
Yeah, their regular tactical pant is also very nice. They've got some little features to them that are nice, and like they've got the the side cargo pockets, but the way that they make them, like when you don't have anything in them, they're not just flapping around. They're very close to the body. So like if you wanted to run some sort of a thigh rig over top, not that it should be down that low, but like if you needed to, it's not going to feel like you've got a bunch of fabric under it that's getting all bunched up, because they lay nice and flat and stay out of the way. They're not going to catch on things like some of the old school ones where you see like big floppy pockets.
Bane points out that Vertex does make a fine skinny jean too. He says, very operator.
Yeah.
I think I like the Vertex jeans. They're a little bit on the form-fitting side. They're not the hipster skinny jeans because I can get my fat self into them.
Yeah, but I think that's just the style of jean, unfortunately, now, is that everyone's going to a slimmer thing, so nobody's making like a baggier...
That's true. I have enormous calves, and I can never find... Like, I almost have to go up 2 extra sizes in the waist to get pants that fit in the legs.
Well, I like my Costco cargo shorts because they had 15,000 pockets on them. Of course, the kids just refer to them as the dad shorts.
Of course,
they're what, 4 feet wide and a foot and a half long. So
yeah, you wear them with your white tennis shoes, right?
Well, and the socks all the way up to the knee too.
Yeah, your grass stained New Balance.
That's right.
Yeah. I guess that touching on like tactical pants and all that, the downside is there's not too many brands out there that make a good tactical pant for women.
511's tried a couple times.
Yeah, First Tactical makes a set, Vertex makes them, and I think that's about the only 3 brands that really do anything specifically for women.
Which is unfortunate because you may have noticed that women are generally built and shaped slightly differently than men.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So
it's unfortunate, and especially in a profession where you may want to have a number of pockets, EMS pants particularly usually come in a women's cut. So if you can find an EMS pant vendor, as a woman, a person who identifies as female, I don't want to assume anyone's genders. But if you wanted to have pants that were cut for a woman but had the features of tactical pants, I would strongly look into women's EMS pants because they're designed to shove a bunch of junk into them, but also still fit on a woman.
Yeah. And they've also got a really cool loop for your scissors.
Yeah, I was just saying, you may have some features that you don't use, like the little pocket, for your shears,
whatever. I had carpenter's jeans for years, and I've never been a carpenter. It's fine.
Yeah, but you drink like one, so it's okay.
That's not true. Don't drink nearly that much. EMS pants for women would be my kind of closest go-to if you aren't looking at a dedicated tactical brand like Vertex or 511. And the 511 can be hit or miss on women's clothing.
Yeah, sizing is... Yeah.
They were really great with like the Raven tights, whatever the order of those was in, but they discontinued them. And they had a women's 5-pocket jean that had 5 actual pockets like men's jeans, and they discontinued them.
Yeah, there's a couple of other companies out of the U.S. that make tactical leggings or concealed carry leggings, which would be kind of in the tactical pant market, that allow you to carry some extra stuff or whatever.
Well, I think those carpenter jeans too. They can they have that big loop, so you can put your battle tomahawk in there, right?
Yeah, or your Warhammer or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's important to have that hoop there.
Yeah.
So I've got one question. Is it left leg or right leg first?
I mean, I guess that depends on how you dress.
Yep.
This is a question for you and your tailor.
Yeah.
All right, then.
And also whoever the guy is that does your pants.
And nobody mentioned Carhartt once this entire episode.
Well, you just did.
I don't I don't relate Carhartt to being tactical, but there is certainly nothing wrong with Carhartt workwear or any other workwear type pant is probably going to get by just fine as a tactical, like outdoors at the range, put a bunch of junk in your pocket and do hard work with your friends type of pant.
Yeah, no, I was going to say durability wise, I think they got everybody beat. They just they're not as utilitarian, I think. But
yeah, and like there's some other brands that kind of cross over and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like there's a new company on the block, Atlas something or other, that makes like kit for construction workers that obviously has a military flair because it all comes in camo and like the cool new guy camo and all that.
That's exactly what I care about on a construction site, is blending into the background.
Yeah. But I guess a bunch of
important.
people in the military have gone and retired and now are in construction, so they want to dress the part still, or people that do construction wish they had signed up and want to look the part. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those. Yeah, Carhartt's a great example. The problem is, I think that like a bunch of people that used to do things in places where they needed to not look like they're a cool guy operator have started wearing Carhartt, so like it stopped becoming just like a regular work pant, and you start standing out.
Yeah, if you want to spend way too much money on something that looks and acts like Carhartt pants, cool. Kuhl, Khul. I forget which order it is, but cool pants, because that was the original undercover overseas operator cool guy embassy pant.
Yeah.
But they look like Carhartt work pants.
Kuhl.
Kuhl, perfect.
Yep.
Great pants, expensive, but great pants.
Yeah, but yeah, the downside to that is if you're trying to go for the more gray man look, you're probably not being a gray man wearing that kind of stuff either.
Well, you stand out to people that look for that kind of stuff. So if Gavin and I are around and we're checking out the brand that's emblazoned on the back of your jeans, that's all we're doing is checking out the brand, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I had.
Is that the list for pants? I guess we
I feel like that covers a significant amount.
Yeah.
I'm impressed that we were able to talk about this for an hour.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
I
impressive.
didn't expect this would be a short episode.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We have a lot to say about
Oh,
pants.
it's not over yet.
I'm
is
trying to
not.
come up with a third pants joke in a row, and I'm drawing a blank now.
Well. Oh well. Shall we move into the podcast challenge with that?
Sure, I got one off the cuff here.
There's the third one.
There you go.
There it is.
So the podcast challenge this week is to find one pair of utility pants to go with your Hawaiian shirt from Ragnarok Tactical for the apocalypse.
Very nice.
I'm really glad this is all zipped up now.
It's not
You
not
talking
quite
about
yet.
your pants?
That's why your camera's off, huh?
Yep.
Hey,
I haven't worn pants recording an episode of the podcast in, I don't know, at least a year.
me either.
TMI.
Yeah.
So upcoming events, absolutely nothing because COVID.
Screw COVID.
Yeah, we've got deal of the week.
All right, as previously mentioned, in keeping the house warm and I think off-grid heating solutions, the infamous wood-burning camp stove from Princess Auto is back in stock, and it has gone down in price. So it is now $58.88.
Which means you can buy that and like 3 carbon monoxide alarms.
And maybe a set of Carhartts, too, at Princess Auto. So I put the link in the show notes for basically a $60 wood-burning stove with a pretty decent chimney on it for emergency backup. Pretty dang cheap.
That's good.
That is good.
I like it. Let's move in the shout outs.
Shout out to new listener Ethan. Thanks for joining us. That's all I got.
All right, I got one for listener Josh, who contacted me via email this week, and good luck on the ham exam. And he's hopefully going to come on next month and talk to us about melting down lead for various uses.
Cool.
Nice.
There you go.
Andrew?
I'm going to give my shout out to Liz that was at the Map and Compass class this weekend, who I understand is also a listener to this fine podcast, as well as the rest of our class, but they weren't sucking up by telling us that they listened to our internet stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Thanks, Liz.
What's up, Liz?
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
All right. We'll move into email and iTunes reviews. So, we've got an email here from Brendan, who I do see in the live chat throughout the show here. So, read this off and feel free to jump in if you want while I'm reading it. So, it says, hello from New England. Found your podcast a couple of months ago and have been trying to catch up ever since. You've put a lot of good content, and it's great how realistic you are with your advice and challenges. You don't just recommend everyone buy everything or take all the courses. I really like your conversational style and banter. I appreciate that you try not to bring too many politics into the discussion. We try not to. As a liberal, sometimes. There's the odd time. As a liberal with hippie tendencies who's also a gun owner, is that possible?
I believe it is. I believe this has been achieved right here.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Politics.
Casual prepper and farm handyman. It can also be frustrating to engage in the prepper communities that often can be heavily religious, nationalistic, and aggressively conservative. There's been times listening to your back episodes where I've tried to respond to you, regardless of how loony it made me look talking to myself on the tractor. Yeah, fair enough. Specifically, I didn't appreciate your dismissiveness and ridicule of a transgender politician. As I said, though, overall, I really appreciate your tact and informative dialogue. I'm eager to...
I'll have to jump in here. So, you have to tell us which politician we were referring to, but I mean, if it's who I was thinking of, well, I think maybe just confirm the fact that I think he or she's a transgender. It hasn't been proven yet. Anyways, but yeah, just to be clear, with rare exceptions like Pierre Poilievre, we think all politicians are shitty. We don't just pick on liberals. We pick on pretty much universally.
Yep.
So I don't think that...
I have yet to meet a politician that I wouldn't be happy to throw out of a helicopter with due process.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, I used to have the internet crush on Michelle Rempel until I discovered she was part of Klaus Schwab's like Hitler Youth group there. So I mean, like, yeah, they all fall by the wayside sooner or later.
Yeah,
it's true.
Some are less crappy than others, but still generally they're all one degree of crappy or another.
Yeah, so politicians in general, the first thing I don't like about them is they want to have power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, like politicians are, like diapers?
Changed often
for the same reason. Frequently for the
for the same reason.
Yeah. Fair enough. This goes on to say, I'm eager to finish all the back episodes, and I'm hoping to finally start following along live, which see you are this evening, and adding my 2 cents, or would be 4 cents, since you got rid of the penny up there in the cold north. Yeah, fair enough.
I would just like to point out that New England is north of where I am right now.
That's true.
Fair enough. Yeah, good call. Says, I'm especially looking forward to book club going forward. I just finished 77 Days in September, and then the sequel, Daunting Days of Winter. I'm also wondering what you think of it. Regardless, keep up, and thanks for all the great stuff so far.
Cool. Well, thanks for the feedback, Brendan. That was awesome. Actually, I did learn that there's a sequel to 77 Days in September, which I haven't been able to find yet. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, right now we're at like 328 days of March, so...
Yeah.
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's like a year ago, there's not a single person that would have put up with the idea of being an indefinite emergency declaration, like with an indefinite end date, and now it's just like, oh yeah, okay. Cool,
sure,
whatever.
Yep,
we've been appropriately conditioned.
Yeah,
yeah, 2 weeks at a time.
So what has been watched more than last year, brains or hands?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, okay, I got a feedback from G. Pishner, who says, talking about shooting small game with the 308, we did that in jest, of course. You can take double-awed buck pellets and size to .309 inches and load them with the 308 with a light load. Actually, that's one thing Steve, forgot to mention last week when he was talking about the subcaliber inserts. He forgot to mention that some of these game getters that he uses actually have like a little resizer that you can basically take a double-awed buck pellet and pound through. It'll resize it to actually fit in a 308 cartridge as well. So,
cool.
Yeah, that's a thing for sure.
Neat.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so you use like a little 22 caliber ram set thing behind it, and you've got a nice little quiet thing you can use in your 308.
Huh. Cool.
Hope you're not using steel pellets down that barrel, though. 'Cause
Well, I
That's
think,
something you only do once or twice.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're resizing it pretty easily with the double out back though, it's probably lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, with that, I'll bring episode number 106 of the Canadian Prepper podcast to an end. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, or of course your favorite podcast app. Please help us out and submit a review. It does help other people find us.
We do record these shows live on Facebook and YouTube. If you want an early peek at the shows, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Canadian Prepper Podcast. Also the Facebook page, Canadian Prepper Podcast, because that just makes it easy for us. And click the notifications tab. That gives you an alert when we are going live. You can get me directly. Email Alan, that's with one L, at prepperpodcast.ca.
Where can everybody find you, Gavin?
The best place to find me is through Ragnarok Tactical, or if you're on the Instagrams, UrbexBTA, all one word.
If you want to hear more of which politicians I would vote to put on a helicopter, you can listen to Canadian Patriot Podcast. Monday nights, 9 o'clock on YouTube or anywhere fine podcasts are sold. And this week is going to be our version of Book Club, where we're going to be reviewing Ender's Game.
looking
That was a
forward to
fun one.
It was a good read, for sure. You can reach Ian directly by emailing me at thewesternretreat@gmail.com, and now on Gab it's called at the Western Retreat. You can also find me on Canadian Patriot Podcast with Andrew and Gavin on YouTube and iTunes, so you can find us discussing why government waste in society makes me go shopping for those tactical lederhosen I mentioned earlier. And also, I forget, I should give another shout out to that. That's right. Don't knock it until you try it, right? It's what we did for preps. I forgot to mention the news page I started up there as well, or did I? I can't remember.
I don't think you did, no.
Oh, okay. Self-Reliance and Homesteading Canada on Gab.
Nice. All right, please check out Rapid Survival at rapidsurvival.com. You can get me there on the live chat. You can also email me at feedback@prepperpodcast.ca. So thanks, everyone, for joining us this evening. Until next time, be prepared, stay safe.
And keep learning.